What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? This is Sideline2Baseline with your boy MB, and we're waiting on my man K. Lou. He's holding it down. He's on his way, checking to keep on checking, baby. But hey, until the meantime, we got our guys here, man. We got my man Double A holding it down on the west side. What's up, Double A?
What's up, MB? What's up, Dave?
You got it, man. And then we got my cousin Cuz. Look like he's sitting in a throne, man. He's sitting in a throne over there, big boy chair, man.
Trying to be like y'all.
Yeah, he's sitting all nice and comfort. Hopefully he won't go to sleep on us, man, like those 49ers went to sleep last night.
No, they ain't go to sleep.
They got put in the sleeper hole.
Baby, already. Speaking of the 49ers, let's go, jump, man. What's your thoughts on that game, Dick Haven? Talk to me about them 49ers.
I don't want to take up the whole show. I did
What
that
happened?
with my buddy.
I turned it on. I was like, Green Bay. I mean, they was having their way the first half, 17-0 all the way to the end. And then San Francisco scored 7 at the end of the half. And then it seemed like they had the momentum and stuff coming back. But, man, then Jimmy G, I don't know what that was. He playing peekaboo with the ball with him and Kenny Clark. Turned the ball over, man. And then, but they held defense rose up, held them to a field goal. Jimmy G came and scored, right? But then, man, you gave him too much time. No timeouts. What? 35 seconds left.
37 seconds.
Man, move down the field. 51-yard field goal. Oh, man. Hey, somebody point shaving, man. Tell me what happened, man. Talk to me, D.
Yeah, I just think it was an inconsistent game. The offense kind of started late, real sluggish in the first half. And then I think that just watching, the defense, I think what they were doing was kind of giving their tails early to someone like Aaron Rodgers. And I think Matt LaFleur and the Packers adjusted from when they played them in 2019 and got blown out. And they were getting the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hand much faster than they did in 2019. And I think by doing that, it kind of nullified Bosa, Armstead and D Ford in the front line in the rush. And you had young secondary corners. And when they showed what they were doing and showing a lot of man, Aaron Rodgers was just picking at the part. I mean, every time he throw the ball up in the air going deep or something, my heart would just drop. I'm like, somebody's going to catch it or it's going to be a PI. So I think, and then there were a couple things I thought Kyle Shanahan, love the man, great coach, but I think he should have been a little bit more aggressive in the first half. Like there was a 4th and 1 at midfield. Your offense isn't doing nothing. Try to pick up that first down. It doesn't matter where you give Aaron Rodgers the ball at. He's going to score from a 87-yard drive or from the 50. He can score. So why not try to get that momentum back? But we did fight. But at the end of the day, I just think that defensively, we made some lapses in the secondary getting banged up. And that's what happens when you play a great quarterback. I thought maybe at the end that we should have let the clock run down a little bit more. But Garoppolo said in post game that he thought the offense was in rhythm, so it's harder. He wanted to go quick in the red zone because it's harder to score in the red zone. So he didn't want to let the clock bleed down that much. But tough loss. And in NFC West, you can't afford too many losses. Luckily, Seattle lost last week, and they come in on Sunday for a must-win. But we'll see. I mean, Green Bay is not the sleeper that not asleep this year. Aaron Rodgers is back, and he's coming back with a vengeance, and we'll see. But a lot of little different mistakes that we made throughout the game. A play here, a play there that could have went another way. Or we didn't have a running game really last night. Running back banged up. So Sermon ran 10 for 31. I think maybe he could have mixed Lance in a little more, but it's hard to find them spots. He did it right during the goal line. But long story short, like I said, young secondary and just some mental lapses. Fred Warner not getting deep enough, one of my favorite linebackers. But, sometimes it just happens, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, you're talking about young secondary, depleted secondary as well. We talked about it, ended up losing 2 more corners, Josh Norman, who just got with the team.
He's playing well, too.
Of the season, yeah. And then they ended up losing somebody else. Run CMC, what's up, baby?
What's up, man? Still here.
You got it, man. We're sitting here talking about the game last night, the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers, man. Any thoughts on that game?
For me, that's just on the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
What world? Okay, you know what? If you made a mistake on the first play, they had a chunk. Learn right then. Like, there was just no reason. They needed a field goal. But San Francisco was playing defense like they needed a touchdown to beat them. Like, I have no idea why. Like, If you're willing to sacrifice that first one because they have no timeouts, and you value the time on the clock more than that first little 20, 25 yards, that's a decision. But that's a decision. How do you do it twice? I don't get the. I've in the NFL, I've never seen that. Like the cushions they had. It just blew my mind. What were they in? 3 high safeties? I mean, that was wild. It looked like a cover 2 shell. The receivers were just not bumped. There was just no excuse. There was no pressure. That was prevent defense in a situation where they just needed a field goal to beat them.
Yeah.
No,
and just to run CMC's point, I think that, talking to other Niner fans, we really miss Robert Saleh. That's the bottom line. He was more to the team than we. I mean, his schemes on defense were more important than we really thought. So unfortunately, he's the coach of the Jets now. They're not winning, but he was a big Robert Saleh.
You might get him back.
We get
like they're not winning, so maybe they'll trade him back in.
Maybe we'll get him back, but that's what a lot of Niner fans that I know a lot of Niner fans, and that's what we were talking about last night, is that Robert Saleh was a big piece to those runs. You wouldn't see mistakes like that. D'Amico Ryans, he's a great linebacker, but he's a first-year coordinator.
Yep.
And, those are things that I guess you just have to learn. The only question I have is there like a senior defensive assistant that they can bring in? I don't know who runs that. I think they run the form of that Seattle defense. Yep. So I don't know if Wade Phillips could help. I don't know, somebody, like a senior defensive mind just to help him out in those situations.
Right.
Who was Shanahan's father's defensive coordinator? What's that?
Wasn't it Wade Phillips?
Yeah, it was Wade Phillips. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but we run the Seattle, the Gus Bradley, and Raiders defense is playing good. We run that Gus Bradley Seattle. I don't know what it's called, defense.
Yeah. So that, it's not they really don't disguise, because majority of the time, 95% of the time, you're going to be in some form of one high coverage, So I heard the announcers were saying, when you face someone like Aaron Rodgers, it's like playing poker and he knows what you got, he sees your hand. So because he can make all the throws and stuff like that. And they jumped, like I said, they jumped out 17-0. I was like, good Lord. And then Green Bay defense was surprised in the first half, was getting a lot of pressure and a non-blitz pressure on Jimmy G, and I was surprised by how well, based on that line, because that's one of the things that improved with Trent Williams and stuff like that. You thought that they'll be able to protect Jimmy G a little bit more, better than they did, especially that first half. But it took them a while to get seen, and I think that running game, the lack of the running game, also plays a big part of that as well,
Yeah, that outside zone wasn't working last night. Those pitches and just wasn't running game. Yeah, banged up team again this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, injuries and stuff. My question to you, do you think Jimmy G if he stays healthy, do you think he'll be the starter the whole year, or do you think at some point Trey Lance, instead of coming in a Tim Tebow freshman year at Florida role, do you think he's going to do more?
I think these next couple of games will tell the tale of that. You got Seattle, Arizona, and then I think it's the Colts off after the bye. I think if we lose the next two, which is possible with the banged up secondary, I think Shanahan, because he looked pretty frustrated last night, especially after that whatever throw backwards that was. And it's like he's got to call the perfect game for Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think he's just getting tired of trying to call the perfect game to disguise his, weaknesses, and, I think to answer your question, if we go down, if we're 2-3 or 2-4, lose to the Colts, I think he starts to look at Trey Lance.
Those other rookies are 1-10 after 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You say what now?
Those other rookie quarterbacks are 1-10 after 3 weeks.
Good Lord.
Yeah, what was Jimmy last night? 25 for 40, 257. I mean, and the thing is guys, that he shows just enough. Like the last drive, it was aided by a tripping penalty and a pass interference on Ayuk, but he shows just enough, and you get happy, and then all of a sudden he does something. It's like I don't know who he is. What Jimmy's going to show up on any play?
For me,
does he have? Do you think he have enough? I mean, you got Kittles, you got Samuel,
Debo,
right? Do you think have enough playmakers around him?
I think he like somebody, and this is a pipe dream, but I think he needs like a good possession receiver that could bail him out sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know why we passed on a DK Metcalf or like Julio would have been somebody that could just move the sticks for him. He relies a lot on a short passes or what we call yak yards after catch. That's what Jimmy relies. He kind of because he pushes down the field, but not as strong as some other QBs. But I think he needs like a good. We definitely need Mostert. We're missing Mostert, like Run CMC said. Mostert going down was huge.
Yeah, a healthy running game cures all.
Yeah, that running game to me
it's everything.
He needs a running game,
because he does a lot off the play action. Shanahan's offense is predicated off of play action.
Exactly.
And Jimmy's not going to run. But to answer your question, Michael, I think that Shanahan wants Trey Lance to be ready, but he knows, like we could switch the talk. I don't want to talk about the Niners the whole time because I'm going to get upset and leave the show. But but we saw what happened. We could look at Justin Fields yesterday. That was hard to watch. So I think Shanahan doesn't want to put Lance in that, even though I think we have a better offensive line than the Bears. But guys, you don't want somebody like Justin Fields to be ruined by Myles Garrett. I mean, he's probably having nightmares about Myles Garrett right now. That was hard to watch.
Yeah, you talk about that, and the thing about it, it's the difference between preseason and regular season because preseason they were like, oh, we want to see Justin Fields, and hey, be careful what you ask for, Golly, be careful what you ask for. I mean, you talking about that game, the Browns beat them 26-6, but check this out. The Browns defense, they was a problem. Hey, they held the Bears to 47 yards, total yards. 47 total yards in 41 plays. You get a net average of 47 yards.
Is that after sack
41 plays?
Huh? That was total net yards.
Yards, right?
Total net yards because Justin Fields, he was 6 for 20 for 68 yards passing. But however, they had like 9 sacks for 67 yards.
Somewhere George Hallis rolled over in his grave last night.
Oh my God.
Were they coverage sacks?
Huh?
Were they coverage sacks or were they just press?
Well, looking at it, to me, it was a combination because some of those sacks, you like, man, a veteran quarterback would have threw the ball away,
Yeah,
some of them he held on, some of them he beat them clean. The guy just beat them clean. So to me, it was a combination of one of them he even slipped, So out of those 9 sacks, I would say maybe about 3 or 4 of them you could say you could put it on the quarterback, not, like give it throw it away,
Yeah.
But then now it would have been like it could have been potentially like Jimmy G, take the sack, you know what I'm saying? But it was definitely and the Browns, even though they got Clowney and they got Myles Garrett, they haven't been getting to the quarterback lately. But that's all it takes. You got a breakout game against this man. They probably if they got any sack bonus in their contract, they sending him some champagne or something.
They were all over the coordinator because they said they hung Fields out to drive. He only had 5 linemen, I think, on like 90% of the snaps. No tight end, no back staying back there. So,
and isn't Jason Peters like 40 years old? Wasn't it his left tackle or right tackle?
Oh, jeez.
So
yeah. Sometimes though, because just to that one point though, you don't know how many plays he's got to run in practice with those protections. So maybe, and plus in Ohio State, those were mostly his weapons. I mean, it was find your tight end, chip a running back out of the backfield, and then get a wide open receiver. At Ohio State, he wasn't just hitting slants and receiver. So I think if they'd have done that, maybe that would have been, it's hard to say, maybe to his detriment. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're like, well, God, that's the only people he can throw the ball to. So let's not, So it's only reason I bring that up is because they were saying the same thing during the Clemson game yesterday. So it's hard to know what they know in that up there in that box. There had to have been a reason they didn't. Because I thought that same thing. I'm glad you mentioned it. I was like, he doesn't seem to have a lot of protection in there, but they had to know that it would have went worse if they did. I would imagine.
Yeah. And shame on them if that's the case. I mean, you got to make those adjustments. And then you talking about, you first round picking quarterback. You want to make sure you massaging plays that he's comfortable with, and also you want to strip to success, like have him throw the check down, have him have easy reads and stuff like that, But I think once the game get going and Brown start putting on points, then hey man, those D lines, it's time to eat, man. When that game starts and now you go that 2-minute offense, you got to get going, man. Hey, those D lines, they're chopping at the bit. And then most quarterbacks, when you talk about most rookie quarterbacks, you mentioned about stats AA 1 and 10, right? Most rookie quarterbacks, they're gonna hold on to that ball a long time,
Well, I'd say I know you froze up, Mike, but between the kid in Jacksonville, the kid for the Jets, and what went on in Chicago. I mean, you're seeing a lot of stuff. These guys are playing under fire, and they're dying under fire. What you got away with in college, you don't get away with the NFL. The windows are a lot smaller, and it's a lot faster.
Yeah, and to adjust to the speed of the NFL is a different. You all got to adjust. You look at Peyton Manning, his rookie year, man. It wasn't nothing to write home about. So you go through your growing pains and whatnot. The key is though, you don't want those guys to lose their confidence. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If they lose the confidence, man.
Lawrence has made some nice throws and some nice touchdowns.
Yeah, you see some flashes.
You can see with him. You see it. I haven't seen it as much with Zach Wilson as you saw in preseason, and Fields obviously that was
Hey, Lou,
what it is?
Hey, it's timely for him to show up. I was gonna say, who I think did some of the best examples of preparing and play and not overcomplicating to a rookie quarterback would have been last year with Joe Burrow. If you'll notice. Yep. He did well but he also never had to really think too much. They had a simplified but efficient offense. Daniel Jones, now Daniel Jones was smart, but they still, if you remember when he first came in and took over for Eli, man, they were playing, that was some base offense to go down the field. I think it was actually on Tampa Bay that they beat them. Look, you see what you see, some comebacks, show the quarterback your numbers. I'm not saying they dumb it down quite that far. But there was quite a few curl routes in New York, Daniel Jones' rookie year. I remember when they played the Patriots on Monday Night Football. It was the most vanilla offense I'd ever seen, but they were in the game close. And I think that maybe sometimes people get away from that. It seemed like Justin Fields, one of those, I was just watching some of the highlights, but on one of the sacks, why did he have two receivers crossing deep middles? And it was like 3rd and 6. But they got two receivers running 30-yard routes. So, some of it, I know you're in the NFL and you can't be too predictable, but he did not have a receiver at the sticks on one of those sacks on a 3rd down. So
right,
maybe they just overthink it. I don't know, but
Lou, you come in. We was talking about the Bears, and we talking about Justin Fields, and end up talking about rookie quarterbacks had. They had a total of 47 total yards out of 41 plays. He was 6 for 20 and 68 yards. I know you and I talked about this before, and I know you're a big advocate of if there was anything of an NFL red shirt, man, red those guys at quarterback. What's your thoughts on that?
Right, definitely what you just said, Sidham. I really think when you go back in the day, and I'm even saying back in the day before my era, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking about back in the day when I was a kid, it seemed like all the quarterbacks who came in sat behind somebody. Even if they came in better than the guy they were sitting behind, they always generally sat, and it seemed like we were better for it. It was a quarterback-rich league. Nowadays, we just make quarterbacks rich, but it's not a quarterback-rich league. We're always making arguments about who is this guy. Like, think about it. The Colin Kaepernick argument has always been what? He's better than half the quarterbacks that are starting. That's a problem. That we're saying that about guys who are, out of the league. And you know what I mean? And so I think that's what, when you look at this whole quarterback situation, Jason is right on point. Obviously, You need to put an offense around him that is basic, that is simple, that is a 1-2 read, 1-2 check now type of offense. So yeah, that makes him comfortable. Obviously, he's been forced in a position because of injury. So they have to do it. But I like what the coach said. Coach said, you know what? By saying that it's an open competition, he's really saying, hey man, we didn't plan on him doing this and being here anyway right now. So let's open it up. If another guy comes in to claim it, then we'll claim it. Let him claim it. But if not, then we'll keep with him. Only problem is, MB and guys, you know good and well the GM gonna make that final choice. So he just talking trash. But the GM's gonna say, hey man, the Justin Field era has begun, or it hasn't. Like that's where it's gonna come down at.
They almost buried him at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but he was probably a little gun shy. Every young quarterback holds the ball too long. All of them do. If you always hear the knock on him, they're like, yeah, but he's holding on to it a little bit long. He needs to get rid of it quicker. You know what I mean? Like that's normal and natural. And guess what? As a defense, you love to play a rookie quarterback because you're gonna blitz the dog mess out of them, and you're gonna give them phony looks like all game. Like so, that's why they hold the ball longer. They don't know what the heck they looking at right now.
Right.
They figured it out post snap. They're doing their post snap reads.
Right.
Yeah.
The first time I remember rookie quarterbacks playing was that famous, that Marino Elway. Those were the first guys that really started out. And I saw something this weekend that I haven't seen in a long time, and that was that Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. He looked like Duper going down the sidelines with that one touchdown. I haven't seen a play like that in a long time. Did you see that touchdown?
He looks like what?
He looked like Mark Duper.
Super duper, baby.
Super
man.
That's right.
He caught one right in the basket, man, in perfect stride. I was like, wow.
Look.
Yeah, that was definitely were you shocked? Were y'all shocked that the Cincinnati ended up beating Pittsburgh like that? I mean, they dominated them,
I didn't want to believe it, but it looked like Big Ben might be regretting his decision to come back.
I think it's over. I think he looks over.
might be regretting his decision to come back.
I mean, why do we do that, guys?
What?
Like really, if you look at his game, it's been tapering off probably the last 3 to 4 years. So I think that's more about what Pittsburgh didn't prepare for, more so than playing bad.
Yeah, they should have had a backup quarterback.
Taylor, what you mean when what Pittsburgh haven't prepared for it? What you talk about that? What you mean?
The post Big Ben life.
Gotcha.
He looked tired out there. I mean, he really looked like an old sluggish,
I mean,
Steve DeBerg type quarterback.
Oh, Jesus.
Not Steve DeBerg.
I can't even think of his name, Jason. Jason, you got to help with this. The Tennessee quarterback who's hurt, got hurt in preseason is his backup. The Tennessee Vols.
Oh, Mason? Yeah. Oh no, Josh
Dobbs isn't there anymore, I don't think.
Dobbs, yes. Yeah, Dobbs.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got hurt in the preseason.
They got Haskins and Rudolph now.
Haskins. Yeah.
But Haskins was the third guy. Dobbs was the second.
And
I thought they got rid of Josh, no? Because Rudolph was the second, because he was the starter last year when Ben was out.
Yeah, Rudolph was.
Okay.
Rudolph was, because remember, he was the one, I think it was last year, maybe the year before.
2019, when Garrett hit him in the head with the helmet. Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but he was the one with the whole Myles Garrett thing. And when Miles, Yeah, went out and said he was the starter when Ben got hurt, I think. But you're right, though. Having a quarterback, having a succession in place is definitely critical, because to me, they got a new offensive coordinator. I think the Steelers haven't scored a point in the first quarter yet. You can't put it on Big Ben. You got to give him some help. Najee Harris, use him more, get back to old school, running the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Najee's look good.
But the running game got to get going. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's looking good because he's a complete back, running it and catching it, but he's making more damage. But for me, you got to go back to, running that ball, man. Get it out Ben's hand because Big Ben, man, hey, he be point shaving sometimes. You know what I'm saying? He be forcing the issue.
Mike, I think he threw 58 times yesterday. 58.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't. I know they're behind, but you can't count on that. I mean, the Bengals had 4 sacks, 2 picks, but his decision making has always been poor, man.
Isn't he vegetarian now?
Huh?
Didn't he go vegan?
That don't work in Pittsburgh.
I'm serious. Didn't he? Wasn't there this huge thing in the offseason about this new, like trying to do the Tom Brady thing with the diet? He needs to. It looked like he needed a sandwich out there, man. He doesn't seem to be very. He doesn't have the same morale. It seems like.
Yeah.
Even when they won week 1, I don't know. He just didn't seem to have the same.
In hindsight, I don't know how they beat Buffalo. Buffalo looks like they're going to tear it up this year again.
Just one game.
I know, but they're beating up on teams they're supposed to beat up on. You're seeing a change in the guard. You saw it with San Diego and Kansas City. You saw it with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. So there might. Oh, who's San Diego? They're always the Chargers to me, man.
You're breaking hearts all across Southern California for 3 straight weeks.
I think you might see an all LA Super Bowl. I could see the Chargers versus the Rams in LA.
The conspiracy theories that will come from that. Oh my God. NFL decides games. That's why they did it. The best market. Oh man. You're gonna hear that. If those
teams are playing well.
You think I know the Chargers, that was the other stunner. They beat Kansas City, but do you think it's more so the Chargers or Kansas City? Kansas City had 4 turnovers. I think two of them came in the red zone in the first half. 3 consecutive series turnovers. Do you think it's more about Kansas City beating itself, or you think it's the Chargers beating Kansas City?
Both, yeah.
I think San Diego's growing up and going into KC and winning in KC is that's no matter what kind of Chiefs team. That's never an easy win.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, we know they got no defense. They never have.
Right. They need a corner. They got a team full of nickels.
Yeah.
They just when you go, who can they take away? Like who can they take away from anyone? So I feel like Kansas City has always needed a corner, because you got Tyrann Mathieu, who can cover ground, but those kind of safeties only work if the ground they have to cover is half the field. There ain't no safety that needs. Brian Dawkins isn't coming back. They don't need somebody that can cover the whole dang field. So you have to have at least one shutdown corner and then a mobile safety. But who can Tyrann count on? Who's the Chiefs cornerback? Top of your head, go.
Breeland, I think it's Rashad Breeland.
He's gone now. He's gone now, ain't he?
I thought
he took a contract somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong.
The point is we have to think about it.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah. So. I don't think that until they get a corner, I don't. Yeah, Rashad Breeland's in Minnesota now, so I don't think we're gonna get any different recipe out of them. It's gonna be win in the shootout, or force get up big so a team gets one-dimensional, and then your defense can just do that. But if a team can stay close with them, short of Mahomes doing some Aaron Rodgers magic at the end, I don't know I don't know what they can do.
And on the flip side, you got Carolina and Denver who are playing great D and ball control and not turning it over and playing good old-fashioned football. So,
Yeah, no doubt. So y'all mentioned about an all LA Super Bowl. What about the Rams versus the Bucks, man? That was a convincing win by them as well. What's your thoughts on that?
Deshaun Jackson is the 3rd or 4th target on that team. That is scary.
Yeah. That joker had like 3 catches for 120 yards.
He's still laughing.
You know my big takeaway from that game? Man, Detroit. They had Matthew Stafford for that long, and we didn't know Matthew Stafford was Matthew Stafford. Like, that's got to be so frustrating to be the Detroit Lions.
He got out of jail.
Yeah.
No, he heard K. Lou talking about it. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna show K. Lou." K. Lou said he was stealing money. He heard him talk about it on the show. So he listened to it. I heard he listened to the show every time. He just listened to those comments. He's like, "All right, take that, K. Lou. Show you what I got."
Hey, any given Sunday, baby.
Hey, it seems to be a lot of them for LA.
Yeah, it seems like he's doing it well, man.
It's the LA Sharks. It's the LA Sharks, not the Miami Sharks.
Well, hey, zero expectations. He comes in and he's the savior. Allegedly, he's starting off fast. Soon these games will start counting when we get out of this first quarter, and all of a sudden, and everybody will kind of figure out what they're doing, how they're doing it, and start taking things away, and that's when we'll see who he really is.
And they started off with like 2 of the first 3 at home, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they beat the Colts on the road, but they're 0-3. The Colts are 0-3. So I'd like to see.
So K. Lou, are you pulling the Denny Green? They are who we thought they are. You said that.
Well, I think every year we jump out and we're just you want to be excited about teams, since winning in the NFL is such a tough thing to do. So you really want to give teams props. You really want to believe in what they're doing. But let's face it, it's the first quarter. It's really just telling us a few things. It's not telling us the whole picture. Because in that case, the Chiefs don't have a chance. They're done. It's over for them. Are we ready to say that?
To me, the Chiefs, man, more self-inflicted wounds, turnovers, because they lost against the Ravens, turnovers. But I definitely understand what you're saying. But I'm excited. I'm excited about Stratford and Sean McVay as far as that combination, what they could do. And then we know last year, based on last year, even though it lost to DC, we know the defense it was stout, and the offense was the issue. So I'm curious to see how this thing pan out if they stay healthy, and see how it works. Because that Tampa team, to me, I was thinking if they can, I know they was missing AB. I'd love to have AB in that game and put that defense to a test, Yep.
Right.
Their secondary was banged up too, though.
Yeah, the secondary was banged up.
Their secondary was banged up.
So I wish they was healthy, so you can get, like you say, you can get a good litmus test. Because for me, like Steve asked the question, man, if the Bucks healthy, can they repeat? And shoot, I was like, I was definitely first in that line. Say they could do it if they stay healthy,
Mm-hmm.
I think LA is a good, not carbon copy, but I think it's a similar formula to the Bucks. They can win both. They can small ball, play defense, and win ugly, or they can win a shootout.
And I think they have a better defense than the Bucks.
I think so too. I think they have better personnel. I think Tampa Bay is Tom Brady. If you really, if you look at it, it's essentially the same team plus AB back when it was Jameis Winston. They defensively they're about the same. They added AB. That's about it. So I think LA, if you take the quarterback positions away, LA was closer than Tampa Bay was. Tampa Bay got their piece and got a Super Bowl first year. I think LA is like, oh, well, if that's all it takes, gosh, why don't we just, and if they can do it with Matthew Stafford, I think it really shows you that they were closer than Tampa Bay was, roster for roster, aside from the quarterback position. So,
well, we definitely should see. Well, Jason, you know what? Talking about, can they do it again? Switch gears right here, man. What about the Clemson Tigers, man? Can they do this thing again, man? Talk to me, baby. What's your thoughts? Because I'll say this. I know before the season started, we had you on the show, and you were saying, I don't know, as far as use. I was like, man, with DJ, what he did last year, they're going to do it. And you're like, I don't know. It'll be a little bit more conservative. You called it out. But what's your thoughts on those Clemson Tigers, man? Talk to me, baby.
Well, with DJ, for me, I saw it last year when we lost to Notre Dame, and then when we won, we beat Boston College. But he made some. DJ last year just seemed to not step into the moment. we had enough veterans around him to rise him through the Boston College game. We didn't quite get there in the Notre Dame game, even though he threw the ball all over. But I just had a feeling that he wasn't the type of player that can respond in those moments. And there's players that can come back from it, and there's players that have it in the moments, but they don't. Johnny Manziel. But I just don't know that he is. I think what we're gonna have to do is make a change at the quarterback position. I think if we win out, we're not going to get into the CFP. We can hope for a big bowl and hope this doesn't hurt recruiting too much. But in my opinion, I get that you got a commitment to the player, and I know he's got a great family. But you got a commitment to every other kid that's dressing up on Saturdays too. They came there to win, and they're doing everything right. Especially if you're on defense. When you got the best defense in America, imagine how frustrated they are. They've won every game for us if offense just does anything at all. So I think if you leave him in and he grinds us through some more wins, what have you really done? It's not like that confidence is just gonna. He's not pulling the trigger on big throws. He's too afraid of hard throws because there's some throws that look difficult, but any quarterback in America that starts should make them, and he just doesn't. That's when he'll run for a 3 or 4 yard gain, or go to another read when that guy was open, and he's just not. I don't know how you. He's getting reps in practice. So how do you train pulling the trigger? I mean, I would have to defer to what you guys know on that, but he just doesn't pull the trigger, and I know that backup will. I've seen that backup in practice, so I know he'll pull the trigger. I mean, why he hasn't been put in the game yet, I don't know, but he could have won week 1 for us if we'd have made the switch at halftime, and he absolutely would have won on Saturday. That's it. I mean, we will realistic time.
Wow. So I guess my question, Jason, is he's the problem. Like it's nobody else. Like you got a team full of 4 and 5 stars, and you just play, a Georgia Tech team that has 1, 2, and 3 stars, and then you just played another 1, 2, and 3 star, and then you're basically telling us it's his fault. That's just mind-boggling to me. If you got a team full of horses and you playing a bunch of cats and you can't beat them.
Where does the ball start every down? It's got to go through him.
Yeah, but I mean, MB and I, you talking to 2 defensive guys. We see all the time where a dominant defense like you're claiming to have takes over a football game. One of the things you may need to admit to is your defense ain't as dominant as you think it is, if that's the case. If you're saying that it is, because the teams that you barely beat a Georgia Tech team, and then you fight with NC State, and then they win. The defense is still giving up points. You know what I'm saying? Against 2 teams that aren't really talented.
We gave up the first touchdown all season on Saturday, and
right.
we only gave up 1 in the first half. And we had 7 yards in the third. At one point, we had 8 straight 3 and outs. 8 straight 3 and outs. So I mean, and then we lose Breezy on the defensive line, and we lost a start middle linebacker first. So
who is another guy that you think can play linebacker?
Oh, God. Hey, he does.
NC State kicker left 9 points on the bench.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if we made, I don't know, 3 completions in the first half, it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, how many easy throws just did not get made? I mean, just period. If we had throws being made, if we had confident quarterback level, we'd be 4-0.
Wow. It's just hard for me. It's very hard because you were also the guy that when Pac Jam was on here saying that Shipley was a dude. You know what I'm saying?
Well. He's played well.
What does that mean though? Like when you say a guy is tough like that and can go, we hand them the ball 30 times and let them win the game.
That's what they're stacking the box. Have you been watching the defense? They're not afraid.
No. We hand it to him 30 times and let him win the game. like you've done with your other running backs in the past, all the way beginning with C.J. Spiller. I mean, Clemson has a history of running backs that even go before him, but that's what y'all did.
I don't think Shipley is different. Shipley is more of the lightning to the thunder you were talking about. I don't think he's that kind of game-breaking back where you can just ride him to the end. But he can absolutely line up wide, catch a screen, But he's not a every down back.
I think my problem is if you're really as good as you think you are at every other position, then you can actually get the ball out of your quarterback's hand and let those guys be special. It's not really that tough. And so for you to tell me that he's that bad, I want to see the switch to see if it is really what you're saying it is.
I'll tell you this. You watch if we do. I mean, I don't think we will because Dabo came out and said we're sticking with DJ. But watch if we do. You just watch because if you watch so many of those plays, because when this last weekend it was on 4K, and when there's a 4K broadcast, you don't get the same TV broadcast. If you watch it in 4K, you get the little intermissions, and you also sometimes get that nice field view. Man, the receivers running around, they're just not even expecting to get the ball. There were several plays that were 10, would run a curl route and be like, I don't even know what I ran it for. Like, that's what he would do. And you really can't blame him. And I know they're coaching and I know they're young.
So hold on, though. Is that DJ or is that coaches because a lot of coaches tell you where to go with the ball, Jason.
What would happen is DJ, would look to the right end of the field. I remember the play I'm remembering. Tim, Ross was on one end, Nada was on the other. Ladson, I think, was in the slot. Nada ran a curl or like a comeback, looked back, and then just kind of like, whatever. I don't even know why I bothered. Because DJ looked to the right, then looked to the middle, he never even went left. And it was like one Mississippi in between. He's just nervous, he's not pulling the trigger. The ball ain't coming out. The ball's just not getting to the receiver.
And speaking of him not pulling the trigger and stuff like that, though, Jason, if Ross comes up with a perfect throw he made at the end of the game, we still playing right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was a perfect throw.
He made two of them. The first down one as well. The guy had caught it in his hands and he let it go.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with K-Lou on this. I know Jason. I mean, you're the Clemson expert, but golly, it seemed like he needs some help. I think DJ needs some help. He's not one. He's their whole offense right now. He needs some other guys stepping up to the plate because you're right that as the game got on, I mean, he threw the touchdown pass. Ross ran a great route, ended up making the catch. All right, he threw a outstanding throw on that one touchdown. All right, but then that end of the game, man. Second overtime, I mean, man, he put it right there. And you saw North Carolina State, their receivers made plays, and Clemson didn't. And I'm like, man, I understand what you're saying, take him to the lab, but when the game really mattered, that dude, the dude just is right there, catch the ball, and he's getting the ball to his playmakers, and dude didn't come up. He came up short, so I don't know.
Did you see his body language? Did you see his body? I mean, his body language is almost like, wow, I didn't even expect it to get there. Like, it really, like, if you watch, and that's Justin Ross, he's going to be the best receiver in the stadium every game he plays until he gets drafted. So, even from him, he had, his hands are down. He was like, oh, God, the one time it gets to me. That's kind of what it seemed like his reaction was. So, for me, it's just, if you think about it like this, if Trevor was there, are we 4-0? I think we know that they are. So that's it.
Come on, man. That's everybody. If Joe Burrow was at LSU, are they 4-0? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
But
don't do that. I've actually never heard of that before. This is the first time I've ever heard of a if an NFL player was back playing with y'all.
It's the guy from last year who had a year of eligibility left. That's what
that's everybody team, Jason.
Oh man, no. Okay, who's pick an average quarterback in college who's nothing great but nothing bad. Just pick one. If he's there, are we winning? If passes
I
are being made,
quit saying that. You talking about all NFL guys. There's a lot
No,
of
no,
guys
no.
that's working now that y'all will be the same record.
Brian Greasy beat
Jason,
out Brady.
I don't know. Jason, you know more about him about it. I don't see DJ being the main issue. I see other guys need to step up and get it going, man. Because right now it's just DJ and the next top offensive guy is Ross. And then Ross, I mean, that last drive, golly, Ross got to make those plays. You know, I don't know. And
You're
then
getting everything
also,
you could ask out of your defense.
Huh?
You know, you're getting everything you could ask for out of a defense. So, what running game? I mean, you know, if you had to really like search for something, but the running game's struggling because teams only have to play the run. So it just comes back again. We're just not firing the ball. Like teams are playing the run because they don't have to not play the pass. And 2 or 3 times during a game, DJ will make a throw and one of our receivers will make a catch, but they're playing the run because that's all they have to play. So I can't put it on the defense of the running game. I just can't.
It's Skowski's fault, man.
Oh, man. Kevin hates Clemson linebackers. He thinks they're too small. Hey,
Hasn't he been there like 7 years?
He hated Boulware too.
I mean that huh?
He hated Boulware, Ben Boulware. Our last.
I didn't hate him. Hey, I just hear the announcers talking about them MB like they first round picks, and then Jason started talking to me about them, and I'm like,
I never said first round pick. I said
no. I said the announcers start talking about them like they're first round picks. They don't even say they're first round picks, but they act like they be all over the field and they be the third dude to jump on the pile. That mean
no. Hey, Skowski's there at the play. Skowski won the game against Georgia Tech by himself. He's there at the play.
Everybody always wants the guy on the bench. I mean, do you think we would ever had the Tom Brady if Bledsoe didn't take that hit back in the day? You think Tom Brady?
You think Alabama would have won that national title if Nick wasn't too scared to put Tua in that nobody had ever heard of? And the halftime of the national championship game in a game they were in?
Listen, I'm telling you guys, that was not a big deal. They had a fullback out there at the time playing quarterback.
Who's that?
The quarterback at Philly right now.
Jalen
Hurts. Hey, under Saban, he was not the same guy at all. He didn't know nothing about the quarterback position at Alabama. That's why it's funny that Pac Jam always throws his name in the hat, you know, when he's talking about Alabama quarterbacks in the NFL, because he was a fullback playing quarterback at Alabama.
Oh, there's a pack wagon, Sooner wagon.
Yeah, when that joker went to Oklahoma, oh my goodness. But if you hear the story, he worked out with the California guy the whole summer before they even going.
Palmer?
Right.
I don't know the name. No. The black guy, MB, I don't know his name. Out there in California.
Steve Clark.
I don't know his name.
Like quarterback guru.
But he's like the quarterback whisperer out there in California. Like everybody who's anybody ends up out there with that guy.
Yeah, I think it's Steve Clark. So Jason, to go back to you, man. So with Clemson, do you think they can bounce back? Is this the end of the dynasty, man? Is it that serious?
Oh. No, we reloading too much. I mean, the recruiting cycles. Kevin knows me. Once you get on a roll, it would take 3 or 4 bad seasons to cost us.
It's the Frank Costa era.
I think as long as we move on from DJ, I think we're gonna win out and just be in a New Year's Six bowl.
Oh man, Jason, and that's where you lose me. Let me tell you why. Because when Alabama was at its best, it was the most boring football in the world, and we didn't even know any of their quarterbacks' name. And you're here telling me we know this guy's name, but he's the problem. Like I just don't understand.
But because Alabama was just lining up with bigger offensive linemen than everybody else and just running the ball and just steamrolling it. Clemson just isn't that team. We're just not that team. Are you saying why can't we just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, everybody?
No, why can't you? Okay, if you're that talented at other positions and you're that talented if you're Shipley, then why aren't you wide receiver screening to death, running back screening to death, get him out in the flat just like you talked about earlier, and doing quick little crappy stuff just to get the ball out of DJ hands. It happens all the time in the NFL when they have a horrible quarterback. Watch the plays they run. It changes completely everything they do. You can't be who you are if what you're saying is true and you still got talent all over the field. That's why I'm arguing with you. Both things at the same time can't be true. He can't be bad and causing you guys not to be able to be successful at the same time if you're really as talented as you're trying to tell us you are.
But we did do that. We ran the heck out of some wide receiver screens. It's like most of what we did. And it didn't work.
Break them every time if you're really that talented. That's what I'm saying. You're not as talented.
Those Alabama quarterbacks that you're talking about, what does Nick Saban do 4 or 5 times a game? Jalen Waddle. No. This is the last 4 years of Alabama football has not been Nick Saban football.
They reinvented themselves.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But even when it was, they still had the deep ball. They still had Julio Jones. They still had 2 or 3 deep balls a game for sure.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. Mari.
That's it.
Yeah, correct. We don't have deep or an intermediate ball. We have sideline, maybe 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and we'll just hope Galloway can muscle out a catch. We have nothing. We have no thing, but no throwing. That's the difference. They always had competent quarterback play at Alabama. Whether he was getting drafted or not is whatever. They could get the ball down the field.
Okay, Lou, is this the year Miami wins the ACC?
Yeah.
No. Hey, y'all will find a way to throw it away.
Yeah, let's do it.
Georgia Tech will win it before Miami.
We're winning it.
I'll say Clemson will still win it.
It wouldn't shock me, Jason.
It hurt me that Jason. It hurt me that Clemson lost. I wanted them to win. I mean, I just to represent the ACC. You know what I'm saying? Golly, it hurt.
NC State played a great game. That kid made a great catch to win it, regardless.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No, and then I'm telling you what, show when you mentioned on defense, when those guys got hurt, man, NC State started smashing it, running that ball. They started moving. I mean, they was dominating the line of scrimmage.
See, that's what I saw, MB. So I ain't know all these statistics that Jason gave earlier about how great their defense was.
Well,
no,
go ahead,
because I didn't know any of that, but it didn't look like that with that little what's his name? Lorenzo Neal looking running back they had back there. MB.
But he wasn't getting the first half.
Yeah, because when you saw those guys get hurt because they lost another defensive lineman. Right, the top defensive lineman was out. Davis, right? Is that right? He was out. Then the other D lineman got hurt, and then the linebacker got hurt, and the D lineman got hurt. So the depth concerned me. I was like, man, these dudes ain't reloaded. But the defense they run is that check with me defense. You looking on the sideline, get a play at the last minute, trying to make this adjustment. So I was telling K. Lou, man, that sometimes you just got to line up and just play ball, man. Let them eat, because it's just too much thinking out there, But North Carolina State, they just started. When they was just committed to running the ball, moving the chains, just running, and then off the run do this, they were at their best, especially at the end of the game. When they try to do all the little, a couple times in the alumni section right there, they try to do a little fake pass or reverse, and that get themselves in trouble. They got too cute. Just if they stay with just running the ball, that's what they start doing at the end of the game. They put themselves in a position to win,
I think the defense was tired.
But you saw the left players. I saw what K. Lou talking about. Once those guys got hurt, that line of scrimmage, they was getting blown off the ball,
They were tired too, though. They've been on the field the whole game. 8 straight 3-and-outs. I mean, the defense just got tired. If we have
double overtime. You got to outperform the other team defense, man. Get off the field. You know what I'm saying? You get 3 and out, outperform the other team defense.
It's your Denny Green game. We are who they thought they are.
But no, but I agree. To me, once those guys got hurt, you saw the lack of. They didn't reload, man. They was getting pushed off the ball, you know, and so I definitely understand that, you know. Definitely.
I think a win out. I think NC State will get nothing from it, and I can't wait to hang 70 on them last year and remind them for who they are. Exactly like Denny Green. I do it every year. The year Georgia Tech beat us and thought they'd made it, I made sure to get blocked off their Facebook page, reminding them the next year. So I'll be right there on NC State's Facebook next year, just reminding them who they really are. So enjoy it for a year, Wolfpack. Yeah. Hey, right way to the Meineke Car Care Bowl. You got it? Yeah.
And this is the part that I don't understand, because once a team does stand up like that, you know, I'm the type of guy that I get behind them as far as the league is concerned. Because if we all tear each other up, Jason, the whole league's just about to look
whatever, Duke. Crap. All right, Duke. He's just saying that because he wants Duke to come. Like, nobody comes and has Duke's back when they win a few games. Like, you don't care about the Duke's back.
Listen, I you know that don't make me move. I say the same things regardless. It has nothing to do with who my team is.
What are we supposed to be like? Raleigh? Like,
no. But you don't wish them ill will, because again, like, it only makes your team look that much worse.
I don't wish them ill will. I just know we're gonna hang 70 on them next year, but that's us doing it to them. I hope wins out.
Well, no. I only responded when you said they'll be in the Meineke Car Care Bowl. That's where that comment came from.
That's just being realistic. Where are they going?
You see what I'm saying?
Where are they going? Like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna lose to Virginia or something by 40 later on in the year, and nobody's gonna know why.
And that's why our league gonna get dogged out, and everybody gonna talk about how crappy we are, and you got to deal with it. You see what I'm saying?
Clemson seems to have rose above the ACC lately. Now this year we're gonna be down here in the dumps with them. But
that's what I'm telling you. It's all about now. You can't go back last year or talk about next year, but that's what you're doing.
No, I just know that next year we'll be right back out of it. We don't care. Like, hey, go talk to Florida State. We did our part. We've done our part. Florida State ain't doing their part. What are we supposed to do? We had a bad quarterback. What else can we do? I mean, Boston College step up. Aren't they respectable this year? I hear. Notre Dame might pull it off. Notre Dame on Wisconsin, that was the first time that they looked real against a real opponent. I know Wisconsin, but I mean, Notre Dame showed me a little something in that game. At least it looked like it.
Yeah, they rose up. They responded well, you know.
Does AC still get credit? Let's just say if Notre Dame gets in and wins one this year, they ain't gonna win it all. No. Does that? I mean, ACC don't get any credit for that?
Notre Dame's still independent.
That was the one-year rental.
That was my argument, Jason. I just asked you that question. You don't remember that?
I set it up. That was me setting it back up.
I asked you that question a while ago, and you didn't feel like we should force them into the league. That's what I was talking about. See, now they get all the benefit of really being in the ACC, but yet they don't give us any money.
You just want to check, but see, like, I like the tapestry of their schedule, though. I mean, God, they play Pac-12, Big Ten.
I talked about that too.
Hey, Miami used to play that schedule. Nobody wanted to play us after a while.
No, y'all ain't play that kind of schedule. Nobody plays that. That schedule is built for them to lose 2 games and be in every year.
Or just built for big TV money. It's built for big TV money is what it's built for.
You said what?
That schedule's built for TV money. That's an AD that schedules off those checks. And he's like, "Oh, who will get some eyeballs? I'll play you. I don't care if my 4-star offensive lineman blows an ACL on first down because Alabama killed us in the Texas, in the Cowboy Stadium. Let's go. Like, I want that check." So maybe if everybody was able to schedule like Notre Dame, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, not being tied to a conference seems to work out for them.
Yeah, we beat
Right.
Coastal. We beat Coastal Carolina 69-0.
Oh God.
Who isn't Coastal Carolina like the best team in South Carolina right now?
Not Coastal Carolina. Central
No,
Connecticut.
it was Central Connecticut.
Yeah.
Central Connecticut. Yeah. And on
Gosh.
that note, I gotta go.
Hey man, we
Yeah.
appreciate everybody coming through.
Yeah,
Later.
appreciate you guys, man.
Have a good one.
All right, man. You guys have a good one, man. Appreciate you. Sideline and Baseline, your boy MB and K. Lou.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. Y'all have a
We
great
outta
one.
here.
God bless. Peace.
God bless you.